amazing story of defiance, but more importantly, a story of possibility. Joining us today are two women who have redefined what it means to be an athlete. Our incredible trailblazers grew up on opposite sides of the border. I wish I had a map of Afghanistan and Pakistan up here. I don't, unfortunately, but they grew up on opposite sides of a border, yet they navigated the exact same map of resistance. In a world that whispered and sometimes shouted, boys can, girls can't. And this is a shout out to Ashana Larson, Executive Director of the Falsa Club, who has made it possible for us all to be together. Shout out Ashana. She came up with this slogan, boys can, girls can't. These two women chose to speak a different language, the language of sport. Please join me in welcoming two champions of human rights, Maria Turpakai Wazir You're allowed to bring that up on stage. You can bring it. And Dr. Hajar Abul Fazl. As you just saw, please sit down, Maria and Hajar. Maria hails from the tribal regions of Pakistan, spent years disguised as a boy named Genghis Khan, just to compete. She lived in the crosshairs of the Taliban for the crime of picking up a squash racket, eventually becoming Pakistan's #1 female player and a global icon for the right to be yourself. Coaching soccer, not soccer, squash in Toronto, and holding squash camps for the underserved in her beloved Pakistan remains Maria's focus today. With her nonprofit, the Maria Turpakai Foundation, she hopes to create a space for rising athletes to be mentored by professionals and learn from each other on an ongoing basis. Dr. Hajar Abul Fazl, a former captain of the Afghanistan national women's football team and a medical doctor. Hajar didn't just play for goals, she played for the health and dignity of an entire generation. From the medical clinics of Kabul to her work now in the underserved diaspora with Soccers Without Borders and her own nonprofit, Tawana, she has been a bridge for women who were told that their bodies did not belong to them. At Tawana, which means, like her name, Hajar, I loved this when you told me this, Hajar, capability and resilience. She is focused on girls' wellness, education, and soccer training. I should have said squash this time. So, a decade ago, both of them were fighting for the right to step onto the court and the field. Today, they are fighting a war against women that has shifted from the shadows to the global stage. Both have faced exile. Both have used their platforms from the International Olympics Committee to soccer clinics to prove that a girl with a ball and a racket is a girl with a future. They remind us that while we are all born free, living free is a choice we must make every single day. Can I start asking you questions? And please, from the audience, anybody can raise a hand, and the mic will be brought to you if you choose to share a question. Maria, you spent years as Genghis Khan to play squash from Waziristan to other areas in Pakistan. Hajar, we know that today in Afghanistan, girls are once again forced to practice in secret, in basements and behind closed doors. How does that double life affect an athlete's spirit? And how do we help them move from the shadows back into the light?
Thank you, Meher. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. I also want to say, because we have online people too who are watching live right now, and I want to say hello to everyone, especially people in Afghanistan, Pakistan, all the tribal regions, and the Pashtun community internationally. This is a very good question because we see a lot of, it's an ongoing kind of a fight between, like, when we see the women are less or more everywhere almost, they have certain kind of denial to their rights, one way or the other way. But especially when it comes to Afghanistan or my region, tribal regions of Pakistan, which is very similar, which is very same culture. We have a shared history of language, cuisine, culture, everything. It's only the border that, divided us in 1947, but it's the same people. My great-grandfather was in Afghanistan, second to King Amanullah, and had a land in Khost area. So we all have the same issues, and Talibanization is in Afghanistan and in our region too. It's an ongoing situation. But we see that young girls here and there, the voice is coming out. On international level, there are a lot of women from Afghanistan, from Pakistan. They're saying the same thing, that our girls, our women, they need their rights. And handing over government to the Taliban is not a good idea. And it's not even Islam, to be honest. Like, just to tell people that they are confused with this idea that Taliban, who are just a handful of people, are representing more than 1 billion Muslims, which is wrong. I'm a Muslim, she's a Muslim, or the Muslims, we know what Islam is. But anyways, in Waziristan, you would see some girls would coming out. There will be cases that go, is playing cricket or something. Recently, there was a story of a young girl, Aina Wazir, whose video went viral because she was playing such an amazing cricket. And yes, the Taliban threatened the family, abducted the guy who made the video. So there will be situations like this, but we have to constantly talking about women playing sports, getting education, and telling these Taliban elements that this is not right. And we are way more than them. And inshallah, I know that the change is possible.
Very good. Hajar, what do you contribute to that?
Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you for having me here. As your question, what happened to spirit of athletes? I think it has been broken. I have been playing soccer or football half of my life, and I fought for that, starting from my home to my community and abroad. But right now in Afghanistan, everybody knows what is happening. It has been, all our spirits has been broken by international community, by the people who made promises for us, and they came to our country and they put promises and commitment, but suddenly they left us. They left us with their promises and commitment. Now there's no freedom for the girls and women inside of Afghanistan. And how we can solve it or how we can help them, I could say by stopping sending the aid to Taliban bi-weekly or weekly from Doha, or stop recognizing Taliban as a community or as a country or as a government, because there's a small group, they came and took the country, the government, but there's 1 million people, they're surviving to live in that country.
Thank you for offering that. Any questions anybody has? Yes?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for allowing me to ask this question. My question is really about your support system in terms of your family and the support that you received to be able to get to this elevated position. Does that play an important part in giving you that boost? Secondly, has education made that a difference? Because I gathered that your father was educated. He had a liberal mindset in terms of, how he wanted to raise his daughters. Has that made a difference? And can this be cultivated in other males of that area? Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Afshan.
Afshan. Thank you, Afshan, for that very good question. We had discussed this a little earlier. And Maria?
Yeah. So the parents' support is very important, especially in those regions. I would not have been here if my father was not very supportive. But support is not only important, is not the only thing that is important. Also, the way he taught us and how to navigate through that society. There are a lot of hurdles, and he had to explain every single thing, how the mentality is, how the man operates, how the society functions, what are the hazards in that society, how do you skip every hazard. So, and also he gave us a purpose, and purpose not like it was his purpose. He looked at our each one's personality, and he's like, okay, well, this kid, like for example, since my childhood, if you give me a book, I would fall asleep. If you give me a football or something, I'll just keep playing forever. So I was like that. So my dad knew that I'm more like artistic, like either I would paint or play sports, but book was not my thing. So he would teach me yet, but through stories. And I would like that. But Aisha, on the other hand, she was like a bookworm all the time, studying. So she was like that. So he knew that she's more like a debater, and I'm more like an athlete. So he knew that he has to look at every child's own personality, the gifts that God has given us, right? So that's very important, and then the support accordingly, that is important. There are a lot of parents that are feeling that, okay, what the society would think, what the other people would think, we should not think about that. Because life is too short, we're all gonna die one day, and nobody would know which one is buried where. Why we are thinking about each other, oh my God, you're doing this, you're doing that, So this is too much. Life is short. Live free and let others live free. This is, and the skills that you have in your life, achieve that. You don't have to stop yourself because of other people. And another thing is, nowadays in the world today, because a lot of kids we see, they're inspired by things like a TikToker. They want to become TikToker. And I tell the kids, I'm like, become a scientist, become an athlete, achieve something that is valuable and that is helping the world. Not somebody who's like, that kind of entertainment. The world needs people who can contribute positively. So I still tell the kids, take a soccer, take a squash racket, play some sports, be a healthy kid. That's better than becoming a TikToker or something.
Did you want to say something, add something?
The question was Maria, but I could answer something.
Okay.
I believe I born and raised in Kabul, Afghanistan, and my family was so, we followed Islam and the culture very well. And I could tell that without supporting of my family, I couldn't do anything. My father was the big supporter, as Maria showed on the video and also mentioned. The father was the key role in my family, and they're all key. Like, I will always say, like, they are the key keeper of the family, and they are taking the all responsibility, and they're making the orders. And with having support of the father of the family, that means you achieve everything. With support of them, I could go to the national team, and I could play, and I could go travel by myself with the team outside of Afghanistan, which is the big deal in my family and all my community. From the beginning at the end, I said, like, family support, the father support is the main point of any athletes from our region.
I wish I had both their fathers here to ask them how they felt their actions as a father for two trailblazers, encouraging them, actually shifted the mindset in those local communities to perceive their daughter's achievements as a family honor rather than a shame. Would you have any idea how they would answer?
Well, you learn through mistakes, and my father himself was rebellious, and if you don't have experience, what's good and bad. For example, somebody asks you, if you fly in one kind of airline, and somebody asks you which one is the best airline in the world, you're gonna just name the same one that you always fly in, right? But if you experience with all different airlines, then you would tell exactly which one is the best one. So in life, when people stops you that, you know what, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, you have not experienced life yet. How would you explore your own strengths? So my father himself, he watched Hollywood movies. You know, he was hanging out with hippies. He wanted to be a Hollywood star, stuff like that, you know. And then he saw everybody, even his young age, when he go in jeans back to the village, everybody's like, what are you doing? And why did you bring all those white people, you know, hippies, to the village? So everybody would complain. And my great-grandfather was very well-known, very religious, and they were like, you're bringing us bad name. So then my father was arranged marriage for him, and you know, he got married, and then he started educating my mom. So the more people opposed him, he kind of started thinking, what's happening here? So when you start going against the wind or the flow of the water, then you realize how much power you need, how much strength you need, and you actually start becoming more and more learning, like why is they're opposing me? So, and my father found good things in it, positive things in it, because there was a time that my father was very upset with the people, and he said I had a gun in my hand, and I was like, I'm gonna go after them and shoot them, all of them. And then Aisha, my older sister, she was like young, and she was chatty, and she was talking, and my father realized that, you know, she has this quality of like debates and stuff like that, you know, speeches. So he thought that people spend, you know, he put the gun on the side. He said, you know what, I'm gonna take care of my children and spend time on them rather than going after the people. So there are situations that we can choose, whether we can go on a negative side or positive side. Every time if we make a positive decision, we will get positive results. Non-violence, you know, if you go in that direction. So he did that, and I think every time he did this, you know, improvement, he saw good things. And he said people in my village, they spend so much time on bater, which is quail, and roosters and pigeons. They train them for hours and hours, holding them in their hands, you know, they're making their feet like more bouncy and stronger, just to win the fights here and there. My dad is like, okay, I'm gonna spend time on my children, prepare them for the life. So, and a lot of people feel ashamed, you know, like about daughters, you know, walking with their daughters. My father is like, I don't care about the people. एक word Urdu में use होता है कबाड़ी बाजार. He always used that. He said, kabadi, yahan se, the people are, the garbage is here. I cannot fight the garbage. And since I have seen him like since my childhood, he constantly collect the garbage and put it in the bin. He said, and for that long, I'm 35, I think. I'm 35, and he put the garbage I have seen him, and he said, not a single person came with me to collect the garbage with me. That much slow is the mentality changing. Hardly. So we need to wake up. If we together as a team clean that garbage from the ground and from here, I think we can improve as a society.
Excellent. That's a great example to illustrate the point how slow moving is community mindset.
Yeah, it's my turn, I think. The question was like how to shift to the mindset. I think I have a long answer for that, but I'm making sure to make it short. The mindset is very important. When I start playing soccer, which we call football, oh my God, I'm always confusing with that. The only goal or the main goal I have, it was changing the mindset. It was not changing the culture or changing the society. I was changing the mindset. Why? Because football in Afghanistan, it was not exist before 2005 or 2006. When we started as a group of girls in Kabul, it was the first group to playing football in Kabul. I knew it, and all the group knew it, that when you start something new and anywhere, even at your house, the questions or complaint will start. We knew it. But what I would just focusing to talk with the families, the parents, not going against what they have already exist to their family, like which is respect. Respect the culture, respect their society, respect their value, and that respect their hijab or any value they have. We went to that route to respect all of it and not going against that. That's why we had that shift to change the mindset from the girls cannot go outside to the father was taking the girls to come to the football federation. And it took a long time for myself and the group with me in the football federation to that shift happened. How that happened, talking, myself, I went through every high school and middle school in Afghanistan, talking publicly, talking privately, visiting a lot of families in the Kabul and in the provinces. Football is not against your value. It's not against what you're respecting. It is something we open the door to they come out to feel freedom and get education and get strong. Is not about you feel that's against you. When the father proudly said that my daughter is represent us, that time shifts happen. That time when the father taking the hands of the daughter, coming to the football federation and wants to, the daughter join a team in the football federation or any club, that's the mindset changed. Then we did it. This is a funny story. When I started soccer, my close family came to my home to stop me to play soccer. And they said, this is against what we believe. And I was sure it was not against their beliefs. I was sure because they're thinking like, when I go out and become strong, that's their fair. Then they said, the only word or sentence I still remember, they said, Hajar, you have to be shame on yourself because one day you will get older and you will not find a husband, then you will stuck at home with no husband and no children. Even if you find a husband, your son will say like that, how your son could say that's my mom. With that one, I continue my advocacy in Afghanistan, inside and outside, and I continue my advocacy publicly in the media. After that time, 11 years later, I came to New York and I received the award from Beyond Sport, the courageous use of sports. Then after that, I called my mom, and my mom called everybody that my daughter received the awards. Before the calling, my picture and my awards went broadly in Afghanistan in the breaking news. That time in Afghanistan, breaking news was only if any explosion happened through Taliban or any VIP came to our country, that was the breaking news. But the media in Afghanistan, they put me in the breaking news that Afghan girl got this awards. Okay, with that said, everybody knew Hajar got the award. Then the next day, my mom called me, and she said, your uncle asked you to marry his son. Then I told my mom, I refused. Then that is the shift of mindset. Then I did it, and I said to my mom, this award is not my achievement. That request is my achievement, and I refused it.
That's beautiful.
That's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it with us. I have another question. Maria often says, and you might have heard it in the documentary, you're born free and you have to live free. Hajar, as a physician, you see the body as a machine that needs movement. When a regime tries to erase women from public spaces, how do sports become the ultimate act of physical and political rebellion? Hajar, you go ahead.
That's a very good question. I would say if they want to refuse us from public spaces, but they cannot refuse our body, they cannot refuse our voices, they cannot refuse our movement. We exist there, even if they want to remove ourselves or ours from public spaces. I could say they cannot, as a doctor, as you mentioned, I could say our body exists for moving, for run, for play, for compete. That's why we always, even if they want to refuse us or they want to erase us, still exist there to run, to compete, and to fight. And they couldn't erase me or they couldn't erase Maria even for such a long time. They came to our country or they took our freedoms, but they cannot erase us. Still we exist here. Our voices exist and we still compete and we will advocate for our existence. It's not just for myself, it's for the million girls in Afghanistan and Pakistan. They have freedom, they have voices, and they have to rise higher than us.
That brings me to another question. Maria, did you want to add? Did you want to add?
Sure. As you said, they cannot erase us. And I think if we go through nature, change goes in waves. And the good always comes back, and the bad will always be defeated. And Taliban are not going to stay for longer. I know that. They can think they have a government, they can think they're in power, they think they're in control. I don't think so. It will change. And the consequences will be brutal. They're going to suffer. And because every violence, because this is the law of nature. You do bad, bad will happen to you. So for the time being, I know the women are suffering. They're not allowed to do, to go to the schools or sports, all that. But all that wildness, the wildness that's out there, these Taliban will bury themselves in their own cruelty. And they're not going to escape that. I know that. For the women, they cannot, they cannot, it's a half of the population. It's not going to disappear. You kill one person, they're going to become, it becomes a greater voice, a bigger voice. It's going to echo everywhere. And many people sacrifice, they died, they become an inspiration for other women, other people. And it continued through different countries in these regions, in Afghanistan, in Iran, and all those regions. And it will continue like this. And I know the change will happen. They cannot escape that.
Both of you now live and advocate from outside your home countries, Maria in Canada and Hajar in the US. How do you balance the safety of your new lives here with the weight of representing the millions of girls in Pakistan and Afghanistan who are still waiting for their turn to play?
If you ask me, I just move. I don't have a memory of what happened in the past, right? I just do things and I think of consequences later, which is a great thing for me. So that's why I was known for my risky shots. When I would play squash, I was a very attacking player, and then if I hit the tin, okay, whatever. But then I'm on the attacking mood. So in real life, I'm the same. I jumped in the Atlantic Ocean without even I know swimming or anything. So then I realized that, I was sitting on this, the canoe or something.
Yeah.
I was sitting on that, and I didn't have a jacket or anything. I don't know how to swim, and I'm sitting in the middle of that, outside the boat on that thing. And then I realized that something could have gone wrong. So I don't think too much of the consequences until I do it. Luckily, I've been safe. So what I feel like, I just do things. I go in the tribal areas through my foundation keeps doing work in those regions. I do my unannounced visits there. I distribute sports equipment in those areas. I go to different schools, and do sports-related workshops. I run clinics. I run sports camps there whenever I go. And at the same time, there was one of the beautiful campaign that we did, young boys, and they were the one with the sticker of female athletes on it. They were taking that and giving it to people and posting that on different vehicles to create the awareness and saying, we support our sisters, we support the girls. So those kind of campaigns are important because if we teach our young boys, young children like that, we will have more tolerant society.
Now, this question goes to you, Hajar. Many global sports bodies have been criticized for their silence regarding the Taliban's ban on women's sports. What specific actions do you think could FIFA take, and maybe Maria, you can pitch in from the OIC, take right now to support Afghan female athletes?
That's a good question. I think right now, at this situation that Afghanistan, half of the population, they are hidden and they are at home and they have a zero activity outside of houses. School is banned, sport is banned, working is banned, everything is banned, everything is shut down for them. But from this side, I could say FIFA made a big decision last year on May 2025 that for the first time in the history of FIFA, they made a decision to have recognized Afghan football players in exile. Because when your country is not recognizing you're in exile, then FIFA will not recognize you as a player, and you cannot play internationally. But with all this talk in the international community, FIFA made the decision to recognize the Afghan football players team, and they give them a space to play and compete with other teams. But this is kind of a trial. Hopefully this will be successful till they can continue. That's the only thing FIFA has done, and they're continuing to working with them. But with that said, I have a concern about that because FIFA with a big house and we all trust them, and we are looking always, as a player, we are looking to the Football Federation, then we will see our confederation, then we see FIFA. Then like kind of a big father. But FIFA is picking and choose right now, like which player be on the team, which player not be on the team, which is concerning me because we have a lot of players in the US and outside of the US, but FIFA is just only supporting those specific players who they evacuated by FIFA, which is a very short numbers. But the rest of players in the US is not getting any support by FIFA, and also they cannot go to any tournaments because of the current administration. But I am requesting that FIFA or any people who are in charge find the right people so they can find the right players and don't pick and choose. All the players should be treated equally because they deserve to receive the equal treatment or support.
Yes, you may. Ashana is going to bring the mic to you.
Thank you so much for taking my questions. My question is about changing public opinion. And I know advocacy is key to changing public opinion, and advocacy needs money. How do you fund your advocacy needs? Is there any way that expats here in US or Canada can help you with your advocacy goals? Is there a way that we could contribute? I know you have a nonprofit that, that could be a vehicle for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you for asking this question. Advocacy, as I said, it has many mediums, and we want to talk about all those. I talk to people all the time, through all those social media accounts, and my intentions are so that their mentality changes. And I give them very logical answers. I'm not afraid to confront them, talk to them in tribal areas, in a lot of Pashtuns from Afghanistan, from the Waziristan, all that. And they, talk to me all kind of, they sometimes be very aggressive, sometimes very inappropriate, all kind of things. But I don't mind, because I'm very confident person in myself. I think of them as there's somebody who needs help. And I have a lot of patience with them. So I constantly talk to them, and I want to do good things for them. And they have to come with me on this path. If they want peace, if they want progress, I know there's no peace there. I know there are bomb blasts. I know the people are missing. I know there's a lot of drug addicts. The women are suffering. Some of them, people, they say we don't have education. Some of them are saying this, we don't have sports and stuff. But the way of, they always are in kind of situations that are very aggressive and violent. You have to leave your way of life first, put those aggressions and violence on the side, those outdated cultural things that you are thinking that, the girl should be this, what people would think, These are not kettles, these are humans, these girls, these women. So treat them as human, equal human. I know the men go outside, they have a party, they do wheeling on the cars, but what about women? They're stuck in the house. The men go, right now there was Eid, all the men were outside having Mela, which is a party or carnival, stuff like that. But nobody cares about women, that they are also human. They want to feel, they want to go out, maybe there was an issue about a park. A women park was established by the government, and everybody protested against that. And they were saying that, it's against our culture. I would throw that culture in the garbage if that is taking away someone's freedom to be a little bit happy. And there is a lot of bachabazi, which means pedophilia. Fix yourself, I tell them. And I openly tell them, I'm like, you involve in those things that are not even Islamic, and our women are more honorable than you. You become honorable because you're bringing us shame. I'm ashamed of you. Fix yourself so that I can say that I'm Pashtun or I'm from that region. And I tell them openly, and I'm telling them right now, that this is not the way. And the best man among you is who feels that their daughters, their sisters, their wives, their mothers should have equal rights. We don't have empathy then. If we are not human, if we don't have that empathy, it's a power. And we have to have empathy so we can feel the other person, what they're feeling. And I feel sad for those women who, because the reason why I feel sad, we are suffering from terrorism. There are bomb blasts, men are dying in there, someone's brother, someone's father, someone's husband. And I've seen women becoming widow in very young age. They don't have education, they don't have skills. They don't even know how to get out of the house and go to a doctor. And they're suffering. And then the same women, when they have no men in the house left, what happens to them? They become victims of everything, like, all kind of predators or anything. And their honor is gone completely. The biggest honor is to make them independent, give them education, give them sports, give them skills, so that whatever happens in life, they are ready to survive with their children honorably. And a lot of our women, because they don't know themselves, they don't know how to teach the children, a lot of boys are ending up in terrorism. That's why, too. They're becoming prey to that. So if our mothers or women are educated, it would not happen like that. But because our women, there are a lot of missing cases in Pakistan. And a lot of people are crying, mothers, daughters are crying that my son is missing, my husband is missing, my brother is missing. A lot of people say, okay, maybe it's in terrorism or some kind of military operation or this and that. I share one of my personal story with you, which I haven't shared with anybody. And I'll come to this, and I'm giving this I'm telling everybody here that one of my twin brothers, he went to Lahore for Punjab University. And first, I think there are some elements in Punjab University who recruit people into these terrorist organizations. And what happened to him, he was a very healthy squash player. You saw him in this video. And he went to Punjab University, and then slowly, first they make them proud about their culture. Wear this kind of clothes, wear this kind of hat, dance like this. This is our culture. Make them so proud of that. Take them to the same parties. After that, they start adding a little bit extra stuff. This is how you have to, this is a jihad. You have to, the best life is in the mountains. This is unnecessary. You're wasting life in squash, in soccer. This is nothing. Life is done almost, you're halfway through already. And what happened that I saw a huge change in him. And I got worried. I love them more like a children, those twin brothers. And I got really worried. And I asked him, Babrak, tell me, what happened? And he's telling me, first he's not telling me, but then he started telling me, he says, you know what? This is bad. All those things are bad. And he's a little bit aggressively talking about the governments and different countries and about jihad, how he wants to be a jihadist and he wants to be part of this. And I got really nervous, and my dad sat with him, and we were like, give your, who talks to you, who tells you? We kept talking to him. And then all of a sudden, he's like, I'm confused. I'm like, why are you confused? He said, I have a loving family. And I was telling him, I'm like, you talk about all those women like this, but your sister plays squash. I wear shorts. And yeah, he's like, that makes me confused because I love my sisters. And you guys are not like that, but other women are like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Other women, what do you mean? So he was very confused about this whole idea. that other women should not go out of the house, they should do this. He was very conservative, he became. So we sat with him, we saw the mobile inside, like we saw very brutal stuff, killing people, a lot of videos we saw, and a lot of extremist stuff. And I told my dad, and my dad was sitting with him after that, we were all. And then we heard the voice messages of some Taliban who were talking to him that Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, this, my brother, how are you, we miss you, and this and that. And I saw no replies from my brother because he came back home from the university. And a little bit time, I was telling my sister, we were discussing, should we hand him over to the intelligence ourselves, our brother? Or we should put him in rehab. What are we going to do? And it was a very tough time for me, for a whole family. And my dad was like, listen, I'm not going to stop you. If you have your mind made up, you're going to kill a lot of people if you want to go this way. But if you want to go, you can go. I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to buy you even a ticket to Afghanistan or anywhere you want to go. This is what he was saying to him. And then he's like, no, I'm thinking, I'm taking my time. And he told me that ISI, which is intelligence, Pakistan intelligence, is tracing him everywhere. He knows people are going after him everywhere. He can feel it. So I'm like, this is dangerous. What if you become missing all of a sudden because you're involved in those kind of things? It's lucky that we figure it out ahead of time. And we put him in mental rehab. We gave him time and to reflect. And we're a loving family. We talked to him a lot. And slowly and gradually, we had to undo everything from his brain. And the intelligence people also disappeared after that. Nobody was chasing him. So the thing is, a lot of families are complaining there are missing people in Pakistan. Have they ever asked their own sons, what are they involved in? Have they ever? Because a lot of people are too late to figure it out. They don't know. They might put it on the state. The state is involved in it, or this is involved in it.
So you had a very narrow escape. Because
very narrow.
A lot of families don't.
No, they don't talk, they don't realize the changes, they don't pay attention. And then what happened, a lot of parents are distant from their own children.
Correct.
What they watch, who they hang out with. And a lot of families back home, a lot of parents keep distance from their parents. They don't know what, the mothers don't know my son is doing, what their son is doing. The father has to be father, so he talks very little to the children, which takes you to that direction. And eventually when you disappear, then you're becoming a missing person. Missing person in what? Did you leave yourself? Did you disappear yourself? Or somebody abducted you? Or what happened?
So sharing these stories are really
very important.
I know this is a little different from maybe what you had intended to ask, but that is the next step. And this is a great segue into that. So, yes, exactly. This happens every day, and you don't hear these stories. And I'm so glad that you shared it, Maria. It's a very personal story. It's a very poignant story.
Well, that's what I wanted to parents, people to know, especially in the tribal areas in Afghanistan. Keep eye on your sons. Keep talking to them. Be loving and kind to them. And the more you're connected as a family, I think we can save many lives.
And that's how the community will change eventually, if we all take our own responsibilities. But this is a good segue into how all of you, any of you, many of you can help the nonprofit organization. There is
an answer that one.
I'm not going to ask you that question now, but because we're going to be going straight into call to action.
Yes.
And Faisal, you'd prepared a little deck. I don't know if Faisal is here. Oh, yeah, there you are, Faisal. And if you can speak into it.
Yeah.
There'll be many ways you can help.
We're just going to put it up on the screen here. We're hosting the first ever Willpower Forum with Maria, of course. This will be in New York City on October 11th, aligned with the International Day of the Girl. That's a Sunday, October 11th this year. Our goal is to use this forum to create pathways through girls in sport, to provide access to equity and inclusion, and to create a forum for amplifying voices of girls and women in sport, and then connect people to other athletes, media, government officials, leaders, policymakers in the media for these girls and women. If you go to the next slide here. Just keep going. This is like the title one. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, next one. Okay, so the theme will be free to play, which is the tagline with the Maria Turpakai Foundation. We're going to use access to sport without restrictions to participate safely and equally, and we'll use sport as a tool for empowerment and peace. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see who we will have, Hajar as well, hopefully, as well as some other Afghan female Olympians, former government ministers, and journalists. And we have a moderator by Kimberly Motley. And it's we voices of, courage, resilience, leadership, a little bit more about what you've heard here today from Maria and Hajar, and maybe a little bit more on other aspects of how you can contribute and help through entrepreneurship and other ways that maybe touch more upon what we can experience here in America. I think we may even take for granted some of the things that we experience here growing up. Obviously, as a boy, I don't even know the full detail of everything that goes on for my sister or for other girls that have had to play here. One of the main things you see in the U.S. now, if you look at Dove, the ads that they're putting out now for body positivity and things like that, these are not things that I had to endure growing up, and I know that's an issue for girls now. So hopefully these will be some of the topics of discussion at this forum as we connect to other leaders in this industry. If you go to the next slide, you'll see what you know is that girls do play sports everywhere, despite what we've seen now in the past year, that it's now in hiding even in Afghanistan. And the reasons that we chose some of these photos, the top left one is actually a really powerful one. It was done by a photographer who captured girls in Afghanistan posing with their sports equipment that they can no longer use. And the top middle one there too. So it's just, Mari's been doing a lot of work with this over the years. I know, Hajar, you've been doing work as well with Soccer Without Borders. So it would be great. It would be a great opportunity for anyone who wants to come out to New York, participate in this forum. But if you want to do something more locally, I know there's some local students here from high schools in the area, college in the area. Maria is willing to either be a speaker at events or host day camps, coach squash, whatever it may be, to get the word out there. Anything helps. Oh, can you go to the next slide for the contributions? Yeah, so we are looking for donations up to about $35,000 for this upcoming year, just for 1 year. Anyone who has any expertise in marketing, public relations, event support, we can take any support, any suggestions that anyone has to help make this a phenomenal event. We're available for all suggestions. And we're hoping to build awareness around MTF and willpower and get this to be an annual event. So, yeah.
Thank you, Faisal. I think that brings our panel discussion to an end, and Maria and Hajar are available if anyone wants to meet them one-on-one or have any other questions that we haven't addressed.
I think at the end, I just want to mention, we have a wonderful team, Meher, Faisal, some of them in Canada, and Alina. We have a wonderful team in our board, and I think we are determined to make a change and continue with our, using our powerful voices for the girls who have no freedom to play sports or just be themselves. And of course, funding donations are very important because we are aiming for this October 11th event, Willpower Forum, which will be the first global forum to be dedicated to girls' sports. There is no such platform right now, so that will be the first one that is fully dedicated to girls' sports, and we want to discuss, everything about girls' sports in this platform. We want to bring all kind of people, athletes, stories, policymakers, organizations to come on this platform, so we can continue with making difference, and how can we find ways to support those girls who have no freedom to play sports. And of course, the first one is, we want to bring a lot of Afghan girls, athletes, because that is, that country is in crisis. But we appreciate anyone's support, however you can. For me, I think $1 is a huge amount for us, whatever people can support us with. We want to continue and aiming for that, and we appreciate everyone's support.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Hajar.
Yes, of course.
Thank you for this talk. I just want to know, both of you have been supported by your families. You had you had a great circle around you, but at some point you had to take the mantle and you had to move forward. So what was it in you as a younger kid, like what was it that you shut out those voices and moved forward and you were like, I'm gonna do this? Do you want to say that? Like, what can we tell girls these days?
Thank you. Fortunately, yes, I had a good family and supportive family. What I had inside of me and what was my passion, I think it started from the community I received, because in my community at that age, it was around 10, 11 I was. In my community, they're giving value to the boys more than girls. And I had 8 sisters and 1 brothers, and everybody was telling my dad, I wish you had more sons, because they're giving value to the boys. Then with those words or those sentences coming in my mind, and I said, what the boys has and the girls doesn't, like we are equal in the society. With that one, I was searching which platform is good so I can show the society and my community, and girls and boys are equal. And I started different sports, but I didn't feel this is my platform. Then I found soccer, and why I chose football, because everybody said football is for boys, not for girls. Then with that one, then I continued playing football in my school, then step by step, slowly, and I found this is my passion and I have to work. And when I see the other girls around my community and I say, this is the same like me, it's like, they're not different. Then I start fighting on advocacy for my rights and other goals, and keep working and keep fighting and keep advocacy for my society, and it never stopped. Until now, I came to United States. I left everything behind me in Afghanistan, but my passion is still with me and my voice is still with me. Then here in Baltimore, and I'm working with Soccer Without Borders, and I have players from all over the world, and they're all coming as a refugee and they're youth underserved, and I'm coaching them, and I'm just giving what I have done in Afghanistan here to, you have to hope and you have to find your rights. We're not going against anybody, or we're not against any parts. We're just going to fight for ourselves and find the confidence to live free. And still I have it, and I'm coaching, and I'm just kind of injecting to the new generation here in the United States, because I found a common from Syria, from Afghanistan, from South Africa or East Africa in the United States. Everybody have a common thing, that we want to have our rights and freedom of choice. Like, freedom of choice is not someone giving you, we have to find and give it. That's kind of pushing me, and still I'm going through that one, because that becomes very small as a passion, and still I have it, and I keep moving forward.
Thank you, Hajar. We have a book signing, Maria's book, A Different Kind of Daughter. We have copies in the back, and if anybody wants to purchase a book, Maria will personally sign it and give it to you.
Answer to your question is, in sports, when I go on a squash court, if you mentally think your opponent is really powerful, really strong, you're gonna lose. So the thing is, I don't think that I'm not afraid of anyone. I don't think of situations. Oh, it's gonna be scary. It's gonna be So I don't think of any of those things. I don't turn them into demons or monsters in my brain. They're just Taliban are just humans. We can deal with them, and we will keep dealing with them. And another thing is I always joke around. Wherever I go, if there is any kind of situation, I don't stop laughing. So that's my best way to deal with it.
Thank you, Maria. Good, great words of advice. Thank you for being such a great, engaged audience. Ashana, thank you very much. Ashana is the ED of this club, and she brings a lot of great programs. Thank you for supporting us.